The Illini fight hard, but fall just short. Locked On Illini, let's go.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to another post-game edition of Locked On Illini. My name is Sunny Verma. Thank you so much for making us your first stop each and every day, in particular in the post-game sessions when sometimes we celebrate, sometimes we have a therapy session, and I feel like today there's going to be a lot of venting and complaining because we all watched the same game. Thank you so much to Prizepicks for sponsoring today's extra episode on Sunday. If you'd like to support the channel, guys, this very unfortunate loss, but if you don't mind, just hit that like button and subscribe button while you guys are here. And here you are. We all watched that game, right? It's tough for Sam Olber, who's the host of Locked On Cubs and a friend of mine. We text back and forth during these games, and I'll have him on the show. He's also a big Illini basketball fan. And we talk about how having the jobs that we have here, it's almost immature to blame any sort of game on referees. And it's not professional. And it's one of those where I'm going to try to spend the next 10, 15, 20 minutes not trying to blame them. I just don't see a path for it. I think it's clear today, maybe deserved or undeserved, that there were some key personal fouls called on Kaspersky-Shonis, Will Riley, and to me, the final stake was that Brad Underwood or whoever it was on the coaching staff getting that technical foul right when Illinois was making a run. It seemed every time Illinois continued to try to claw back, they weren't able to push through because of some outside interference. Honestly, there is a lot to like about this game, okay? And this is a Michigan State team, which if you guys watched my previews, both of them on Friday and on Saturday, yeah, I did two of them. I did say Michigan State's a very good basketball team, top 15 team in the country, and you get their B+, A- effort every single game, no matter what, and that's what Illinois got today. And ultimately, again, Illinois lose 80-78, despite their best player, potential All-Big Ten, potential All-American, Kaspersky-Shonis playing 9 minutes. And obviously, he fouled out with 8 minutes left in the game, something along those lines. And granted, the fifth one was clearly a foul, but this is where Sam and I were texting back and forth. We both completely agree. I believe it was his fourth foul with 16 minutes left. The one that was next to the Michigan State bench, which, both players were falling. It happened right in front of the referee. And the referee calls a 50-50 foul on Kaspersky, thereby almost essentially at that point putting the Illini in a very extremely tough situation to come back and try to win. That's just a call that, either you call everything or you don't call anything. And I don't know. I'm a little speechless today because for me I'm proud of the way Illinois fought up against Michigan State. Michigan State's a fantastic basketball team, and Illinois was right there until the end without their best player. Essentially playing 9 minutes. A non-factor. When he did play in that second half, right, that 4 or 5 minute stretch, not even 3 minute stretch. I think he came in right after the 8 minutes, maybe 7 minutes left in the game. Then he was responsible for the Illinois' next 5 points, and then sure enough, he gets called for his fifth foul. The fifth one, absolutely just a dumb play by KJ. That happens. He's got to know better, right? And we've talked about this before. There's so many good things that come with Kaspersky-Shonis. Every now and then he does have a brain blunder, and that was one of them. You got to lay off the guy. Of course, the offensive player is going to try to bait you into a foul. And that's what happened. You got to know the situation. You got to know that you've got 4 fouls. But the other ones, when that happened, when Kasparis left, I thought for sure, and we talked about it in the Discord, the PH Club, as I like to call it. Please join the Discord, by the way. Again, we're talking sports all day, every day, in particular the Illini sports. And we were bantering back and forth while we were all watching this game together. I thought the game was over. And you saw it look like it was going to be over for a while. Illinois had a 4 or 5 minute stretch where they just could get nothing done on the offensive end. And you know why. It's because Kasparis is the orchestrator of everything on the offensive end. He's the one who kind of make plays. And when he did come in with 7 minutes left, he made a great 3-point play himself. And then he fed Ivisic for a play for 2 points right after that. When he leaves the court, the team takes some time to try to figure out what they're supposed to do. But today they did. And even when they were down 7 points, again, just they got in within 4, and then all of a sudden Brad Underwood or someone on the coaching staff gets a technical foul called on him. Breslin Center's an insanely tough place to play, right? If you've watched sports as long as I have, you know that sometimes when you have a certain reputation, you've earned a certain set of reputation with referees, right? Look, my golden era of growing up as a kid, I watched Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls. So I saw it happen with Michael. The NFL world saw it happen with Patrick Mahomes on Saturday, where he got, let's just say, some questionable calls to go his way. I said it on Friday's episode with Matt Sheen of Locked On Spartans. I literally said it on the show to his face. I was like, well, see if Illinois can overcome the officiating at the Breslin Center. Why? Because if you've watched Big Ten basketball as long as I have, you know that just comes with the package. And unfortunately, Illinois just couldn't overcome the circumstances on Sunday. They gave a valiant effort. Ultimately, Boswell, I think, made the right play at the end of the game. And it was Ivisic who, I can understand Boswell had been making some really nice layups just a couple of plays prior. And so maybe Ivisic, that's where his mind was. And maybe Kylan should have gone up with it. But if Ivisic's hands were up or he was a little bit more attentive, that would have been an easy layup for Tommy. Tommy today, 13 points, only 4 rebounds. Let's get to the individual plays right after this. So I said during Saturday's preview that if you didn't show me the final score and you told me, hey, I can look at everything else in the box score and I have to guess who won that game, I would have said, just tell me the rebounding differential. Today, Illinois, at least according to CBS Sports, this is not official, but obviously the game just ended a few seconds ago. 38 rebounds to 35 rebounds for Michigan State. Illinois won the rebounding battle. This was not one of those games where Illinois didn't put forth effort. The hustle was there. We had, what do I call it? It wasn't the Will Riley game. It looked like it could have been. It was the Will Riley half of a half, where he single-handedly outscored Michigan State in those first 10 minutes of the game. You thought that, this could have been that game, which I've talked about for, I feel like, forever now. Like, there's a game that Will Riley can win by himself, and you kind of caught a glimpse of it, what it could look like in the first half. But he's another player who eventually got into foul trouble, finished with 4. Overall in the game, he had 19 points, 6 rebounds, 7 of 17 field goals, 3 of 6 free throws, including some key missed ones right at the end of the game. And, Trey White, a guy who never misses free throws, misses 2 out of 3 with a couple minutes left. It was great how he baited, I believe it was Fears, and with that pump fake. And then he got up and he got a foul called, shooting a 3-pointer, only made 1 out of 3. And Trey White's an 85+% free throw shooter. It just wasn't their game. And it wasn't, I'm not, it is what it is. And I know, Spartans fans will inevitably find this video and, they will make some comments, and that's fine. But we all watched that game. Again, I'm going to, and I know the chats, before I started this, a lot of it we're kind of together and blaming the referees. I'm more positive from this game. It does suck. Hold on, disclosure. Remember, I got in trouble for this last time after the USC loss. These post-game shows is basically kicking you off like 24 hours of venting, hot takes, say whatever you want, whether you mean it or not. Illinois now falls 3 games behind Michigan State in the Big Ten conference standings. We're, almost halfway through the Big Ten season. It's going to be very, very difficult to win the Big Ten conference championship at this point. That's just reality. I'm an Illinois graduate, an Illinois fan by association, but I'm being real, and that's just simply math. How much that matters, I know from every individual I talk to, whether you comment in the chat or in the comment section after this video goes live, some of it matters. Some of you it matters for, some of you it doesn't matter for. But it's going to be extremely difficult now. We do have Michigan State back home at some point, but we're going to have to hope that. I know their schedule does get harder. They've had arguably the easiest Big Ten schedule up until this today. But we're going to have to hope that they stumble. But I just don't see it happening. Why? And I think you guys all caught a glimpse. If you saw Michigan State for the first time today, that's just how they play. They're obviously very well coached. They play good defense. They're a fantastic transition team. And they're the number 8th ranked rebounding team in the country. They go all out every single time. And they have just enough talent that they're going to win more games than not. And, unfortunately, Illinois on a good day. Well, what would have happened today if, Kasparis, wasn't called for some of those fouls and got to play, in particular in that second half, when he did come in with 7 minutes. And like I said, he was responsible for the next 5 points. It looked like even Michigan State fans, which, by the way, credit to the Spartans, like that atmosphere was amazing. That was, credit to that. The students there, they had that place rocking. But I don't think that fazed Illinois, because I don't think being on the road phases Illinois. But I just want to give credit where credit is due. But Kasparis, when he had the ball in his hands, he made things happen. And unfortunately, he just didn't get that much time on the court today. And ultimately, Illinois themselves just couldn't overcome that. It's a game we all got to get over. We have Maryland, I believe, on Thursday. I believe it's Maryland Thursday. And I believe Northwestern right after that. And so we got to keep competing. They're going to have a break now. Illinois has played a lot of games in a short span of time. And so now they're going to have time to relax. Hopefully Kasparis learns from this game a little bit. I don't think he's ever really been in this sort of situation his entire career. They're going to watch the tape, and he's got to know that, hey, look, I know you got some phantom calls called on you, but you can't change that. You have 4 fouls, and so the guy you're guarding is going to jump back into you. Just play smart. Let's get to your comments right after this. All right. I bet this is going to be fun. Again, if you are here for the first time, my name is Sunny Verma. Locked On Illini. I go live every single game, whether it's basketball or football. Literally, I ran my first ever half marathon this morning. I'm dead tired. I'm not in a good mood. And then to watch that happen, I got home maybe a few minutes left in the first half, caught up on the game, caught that second half. And but that's what I do for I go live immediately for you guys, because you always continue to show so much support. We have 105 people in this post-game session. I appreciate each and every one of you. I just want you guys to know that. Let's see. William says, refs screwed Illini, especially with the technical call. I hope Brad Underwood burns them down post-game. Justin agrees. Can't be Michigan State, Izzo, and the refs. It was funny. We can laugh about it, right? that one call that was ruled Illinois ball, and then the referee comes to Izzo, and it was just they just changed the call around. Zara says refs and Brad beat Illinois. Caitlin doesn't like the way Kylan shoots long threes. Jason Lynch says just ridiculous. These refs should be investigated. Also, thanks Brad for taking that tee. Brad about 10 minutes too late for that technical. What's with him not taking a timeout on the last possession when it stalled out? Jason says I want Michigan State again with real refs. We're definitely the better team. William says KJ 2 fouls in less than 3 minutes to start the game. Whole game plan is shot after that. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like I agree with even the previous comment. I think Illinois still is the best team in the conference, but at some point, I sound silly just saying that. We've now lost 3 games in the Big Ten Conference already. We're now 5 losses for the season. It's all hypothetical. We always make fun of SEC teams for the hypotheticals. Right now, I'm calling myself out. At some point, and I know what I mean by it. That Tennessee game, right down to the last second. This Michigan State game, would it be nice to be able to play with your best player, play more than CBS says 8 minutes today? But reality is, no matter what, right now, Illinois has 3 losses in the Big Ten Conference. And beating Michigan State with Kasperchak was going to be a really difficult task. Michigan State was favored in this game. Okay, don't let anyone convince you that this was an upset. Michigan State was a 3-point favorite pretty much at tip-off. Beating them with Kaspersky was going to be difficult. Beating them with a very limited Kaspersky, if you had told me that beforehand, I would not have been very optimistic. Justin doesn't care too much about winning the Big Ten. I want a deep run in the tournament. I still like our chances, especially when the refs don't take our star player out of the game. Joe says the fix was in. NDF is wondering what Underwood was doing. Gamer says never seen a player as much as KJ get targeted by the refs today. NDF said the refs stunk, but man, can we not catch a T in a close game like that? I agree, man. That's tough, right? Like for me, it was that, and you can see Brad disagree with it. He was waving them off, but at that point, it really looked like that was going to be insurmountable. A lot of these, comments are very similar. Simeon says there should be a review of the officials. This game was called in an awful manner. It should be the penalty for referees to make calls in this manner. I just don't want to see that high knees guy anymore. I know he used like a meme on Twitter for a while, but I'm tired of seeing him. I feel like nothing goes well whenever he is coaching or refereeing Illinois games. And Joe, fantastic point. Free throws were crucial. Trey White missed a couple of free throws at the end. Will Riley missed a couple of free throws at the end. Ben Humrickhouse missed free throws at the end. Overall, we finished 17 for 27. That's just not going to cut it. On hindsight, Michigan State was 21 of 27. In some ways, that was kind of the game. Jason, good point. Let's talk about something positive in here. And Jason Lynch says, on a positive note, hopefully this is a turning point for Riley for the rest of the season. I really hope he stays another year, gain some weight, muscle, and watch out. Who knows? Maybe this just could be the turning point of Riley for the season, and he doesn't need to stay next year. He's already got a type of game that NBA scouts are going to love, whether he produced in the college level or not. That's just reality. NBA GMs, they will draft you based on potential, more so than what you necessarily did in college. There's a reason Terrence fell as far as he did. He was considered too old and not projectable. But, if all of a sudden this means, Will Riley starting to get his confidence back, I've said it before, sometimes it's nice to see the ball go in through the hoop. And that it did plenty of that in that first half of the first half. And, maybe this turns things around. If Will Riley can be a consistent 13, 14-point scorer, today, let me just get back to that. Like, I talked about that, how's this team going to look like when Kaspersky is gone? Because last year when Terrence Shannon Jr. went out, we had Marcus Domask stay up or carry the team. Today, Kasparis was out for a significant amount of time. And, Will Riley carried the team in that first half. In the second half, it was more of a collective team effort. I really liked what I saw from the Avicic's passes and Morez Johnson. Those two work so well together. And those of you who are my OGers, the guys who've been with me since early part of the season, know I've been calling for that lineup for so long. Having to see Avicic and Morez together, they play off of each other so perfectly. Their games complement each other, and that's kind of what we're seeing. We'll wrap it up with more comments right after this. All right. Jason says we're built for March. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, that's what a lot of people, that seems to be the consensus. But Jim says Michigan State won't win on the road. My good friend St. Dominic's Rosary says, no, Sonny, I'm complaining to the Big Ten office tomorrow. I'm going in person. Okay, here we go. Okay, I see with Rosary, I love this guy to death. I never know when he's being sarcastic because, I know he feels a certain way about certain individuals in the Big Ten, on the Illinois staff. So he said, no, Sonny, I'm complaining to the Big Ten office tomorrow. I'm going in person to the Big Ten office and complaining tomorrow morning. I live 20 minutes away, and I'm serious. This was outright cheating. Jay says, doesn't matter if they made free throws. The refs would have given Michigan State 3 more BS calls. Steven says, can't expect to make all the free throws, but Trey White should have made 2 of 3. Right, and the thing is, I can't get mad at Trey because Trey hits his free throws. Again, it's just one of those when that happens, I just put my head in my hands and be like, okay, maybe this is just going to be one of those games. Lee says, despite the foul fest, we had our chances. The technical on Brad, the missed free throws, the turnover at the end. Exactly, Lee. And that's why there's games that have happened in the past where I've been pissed off, right? In particular, that USC team, that game, where I'm like, what happened there? And I literally said, hey, that performance today, that team did not deserve our support. They balled their butts off today. Illinois did. And they were so close to taking down right now the number 12th best team. They'll probably be top 10 coming this next week, and without their best player in one of the toughest places to play. I'm bummed out because of what could have been, but and of course the results of this again could have cost Illinois the Big Ten Conference Championship, whether that matters or not. But overall, I like the way the team performed today. I think we saw Morez Johnson grow. I think Kylan Boswell at the end of the game made some of the right plays, and I like how he attacked the basket. He was notoriously a bad shooter, when it came to layups most of the season, but I think he's really improved on that the last couple of games. And again, Will Riley, a lot of you haven't agreed with me. A lot of Illinois folks, at least on the content side, are calling for Will to play less minutes. But those of you who do watch my show every single day, by the way, I appreciate you. I've been talking about how at least the last 3 games, I've seen things turn around for Will, not necessarily scoring-wise, but everything else-wise on the court. The game was starting to slow down for him. And for me, I mentioned, it's just a matter of time before I thought that the shooting and the scoring would happen. And today we kind of got a glimpse of that. I hope today is a turning point of that. And, maybe he can go off against Maryland, because I think for Illinois to reach its ceiling, we're going to need a healthy Will. All right, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. My legs are killing me because of this half marathon I ran. So I'm going to wrap it up today. I've never ran anything more than a 5K in my life. So I don't know what I was thinking signing up for this a couple of weeks ago, but I'm certainly feeling it now, and that game certainly didn't help. So I appreciate all of you. There's 103 people in this chat. If I can get 103 likes, I would be so appreciative. Again, Illinois lose today in a hard-fought battle. Today's not a day where I think you need to feel angry as an Illini fan towards the team. This is just one of those games, and sometimes it happens. Some things are beyond your I won't even say beyond your control. We missed some free throws. We still could have won the game at the end, but I'm just happy that Illinois put themselves in a position to still have a chance at winning this game at the end, despite certain circumstances. Do me a favor in the chat, give me an ILL. I will see you guys on Monday, of course, because I promised you content every single day. This is January 19th, so that means I believe I'm on 22 or 23 straight days of Illinois content on this channel, at least a half hour. Appreciate all of you. ILL. Love you guys.